Hello everyone, my name is Mr. C. Behind the camera is Mr. Don. Welcome to another Detroit Children's Museum video. Think history. Think history of our great city, the city of Detroit. Today's video is we're going to use the Analyze an Artifact or Object sheet brought to you by the Detroit Children's Museum, the Social Studies Department, created by the National Archives. If you haven't seen this document, please consider checking this out. Remember also, please, much of what you see here can go into a display case at your schools, can be used wherever you're teaching, okay? Consider that, please. So back to the history, and I mentioned our great city of Detroit. Today, we're going to analyze the object behind me. We have 3 of them that size. So we can figure out a way with you, your principals, to showcase them at your location. We'll figure it out and we can make it happen. They came to our collection in 1950, 2 years after this was adopted and approved by our city council, our city government. Well, what is it? What is this behind me? What is it that you're seeing now? What do you think it is? Observe its parts. Look at the parts of this object. We also consider it an artifact. It's part of our collection here. What do you think the object is made out of? The different parts of this object. What do you think it's made out of? On this document, you would circle all that applies. Is it made of bone, for example, glass, leather? And there are several other choices that everyone could simply circle. You could do this with group study, small groups with children leading the discussions, the analysis of an artifact. If you do not see something that you think this item, this artifact, this object is made of, then make it up. Write it on the back and circle it, or write it on the back. You could write it down here where there's space and give it a circle with a dry erase marker, or just discuss it. You don't even have to use a marker. Just having the document to guide you would be great. How do you think the object feels? What do you think the texture of this object is? Again, what do you think this object feels like? Is it heavy? Does it feel light? Smooth? Does it have any rough or soft spots, in your opinion? Maybe a little difficult to do in a video, but use your imagination. Is it hard? Is it rough in some of these spots or any of the spots? And you simply circle those things too. Feel free to add more. What is the color of the object? Well, you see for yourself many colors. What colors do you see? Okay, and you write that down. I'm now in the middle, center in the middle of this document. What is the shape of the object? What size is the object? Is it small like a coin? Is it medium like a basketball? Or is it large like a car? Okay? And what are 3 words that you would use to describe the object? And you gather those 3 words, obtain them from what you've already done in your discussion and analysis through use of this document. Historical evidence down here at the bottom of the document. Where do you think you could find out more information about the object or the people who used this object or still use this object? Well, one short answer is continue to watch this video. We'll give you some more information. Another thing is research. What do you do if you have a question and then your job is to find an answer to that question? Research. Ask an expert. Ask your family members who also may be experts. Ask people from the Detroit beautiful city, the city government folks. Let's try to make sense of this object. From what you already know, what do you think the object was used for? Who do you think would have used this object or still uses this object? What does the object tell us about the time period when it was made and used? Boy, that's a good one pertaining to this object, because those markings you see on this particular artifact, there's a lot of history displayed there. Do you still, or do we still, use this object today? If so, how is it different? You may have guessed already that this is the flag of the city of Detroit. This flag has the city seal emblazoned on quartered background, with each section representing a country that once controlled Detroit. The lower hoist, or left quarter, represents France, which founded the fort and settlement in 1701. It has 5 gold fleurs de lis on a white field, imitating the royal standard of France. The upper fly, the right quarter, represents Great Britain, which controlled the fort from 1760 to 1796. It has 3 gold lions on a red field, imitating the royal arms of England. The lower fly has 13 red and white stripes, and the upper hoist has 13 white stars on a blue field. Representing what? Of course, representing the original 13 colonies of the United States. The 2 Latin mottos read, Speramus Meloria and Resurget Seneribus, meaning we hope for better things, and it will rise from the ashes, which was written by Gabriel Richard after the fire in 1805. The seal is a representation of the Detroit fire. The fire caused the entire city to burn with only one building saved from the flames. The woman on the left weeps over the destruction of our city, while the woman on the right gestures to the new city that will rise in its place. In the original design of the flag, the seal was oval. In 1976, the colors were standardized using the Pantone matching system, and in approximately 2000, the seal was again changed to reduce the number of colors. The French, the British, the Americans are represented on the Detroit city flag. There's a group that were already here when the French settled Detroit in 1701. In 2017, a graphic designer from Detroit named Dion Mixon Jr. designed a proposal for a new flag for Detroit, which he called the Detroit Rise flag. The black represents resilience, as well as representing the strength, grit, attitude, resourcefulness, and our ability to bounce back. The white stripe represents righteousness and curves to represent both the city and the Detroit River. The blue represents progress and also represents the cooler climate and blue-collar industry of the city. And the star, the 5-pointed star, represents the geographic position of Detroit in relation to the river. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm Mr. C. On behalf of Mr. Don, who's behind the camera, thank you for joining us. Remember, put us to work and contact us. You'll see the slide in a second on how we can help you and your children of the DPS CD. Okay? Thank you. Goodbye.